Hi everyone, we've got Alyssa Avant with us. Hi Alyssa, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Alyssa's going to be one of our speakers at VA Virtuosos next week. It's actually not long away. It's in like, what, 4 days now? So hopefully you'll get your ticket, guys. Uh, Danielle, she'll put a link into the chat area where you can get your ticket to attend and hear Alicia speak. And 20 other fabulous speakers as well. Alicia, tell us what you're going to be speaking on.
Okay, so I'm going to be speaking about how you can use LinkedIn to get more clients. So I think that's something everyone wants is to get more clients, obviously. So LinkedIn is one of the platforms that I have had much success in getting clients. In fact, a new client that I spoke with today, he actually found me on LinkedIn.
Cool. And let me tell you a little bit about Alicia here first. She's a veteran virtual assistant. She's got 11 years working online, assisting authors, speakers, and coaches. She's the author of FaithLeaps, the Christian Mom Guides to Starting a Virtual Assistant Business. And, she's just got a lot of years of experience working with online professionals. And I'm really thrilled to have her here. Uh, she's She didn't give us your link to your website, but I know it's a Alyssa Avant company.com and we
Yeah,
can
and
get that on
company.
there.
So it's my name and company.com. Yes.
Yeah, so we can get that in. I think my internet's going a little wobbly. It looks a little blurry. Hope they don't
Yeah,
kick
just
us
a
off.
little.
Yeah. Um, Hi Angela, good to see you. Uh, if you guys have questions about LinkedIn or anything like that, that is what Alicia is going to be speaking about. Uh, I know, Alicia, that I don't look after my LinkedIn as well as I should. And I think I need to focus on it more. I'll tell you, like a couple of months ago, I went in there and I had 900 invitations.
Yeah, that happened to me recently because I was using it, I was doing it well as far as posting there and that sort of thing, but I just wasn't paying attention to the friend requests or whatever, connections that were requesting to connect. And so I was like you, I had like almost 800 and it was a little bit overwhelming. And I found recently that the connection types have changed a lot as far as than I've had in the past. So it seems like there's kind of an influx of people. Maybe LinkedIn is really just at a growth, spurt.
Yeah, I think I've got it down to under 300 now because you can only accept so many at a time because I'm afraid of, I would just like to go in and just click, click, click and accept them all. But I
Right. It
kind of
took me
also
several
want to
days.
communicate with them a bit too, right?
Yeah,
Like each one.
exactly.
So, oh, it's taking me forever. It is a mission, but I'm working on it and I'm getting so many more connections now
Right.
because I'm actually taking some kind of game plan and responding to those messages or those people that are uh, friending me and getting a little bit of a conversation going. But yeah, I found there's a lot of people that are way off my market too that I'm getting. So
Yes, I've noticed that a lot more recently than in the past. So I've had to be a little bit, like you say, more strategic about how I handle the request and things like that. And it's just like with other pieces, other places that you connect. If you don't track and try to figure out, where those connections are and stay in touch with them, you're going to lose them, obviously. So you kind of, especially if you have people that they match your target market, they match the type of person you like to work with, and you feel like they're a good potential client. Tracking your conversation with them and staying on top of it is a good thing, because this client that I was talking about today, that I spoke with today, he actually had reached out to me and made the connection, and I had a conversation with him via LinkedIn, And then he said, he has been waiting, been wanting to take the step to work with a virtual assistant, but was kind of being hesitant about it. And so it's been weeks, and I can remember I had made a note. I use a CRM, and I had made a note in there to follow up with him, and I actually followed up with him, and he said no, he still wasn't ready. And then about a week later, he came back. So just being diligent is, and, tracking and paying attention is how LinkedIn, one of the ways that you definitely want to, one of the things you definitely want to do in order to make it work.
And follow-up is so crucial in landing those clients. We've got Cindy Bedar. She's going to be talking about follow-up next week. And I'm going to be talking about it in my first class so that you guys learn how to follow up as well, and follow up with all our speakers, because you want to network with them as well. But yeah, it's so important. And that's the part where I think everybody just crashes and they don't do it. They connect with a person once, and then that's it. They think.
Right. And then I think people sometimes, I know when, of course, I've been doing this a long time now. In fact, this month is my 11-year, or no, wait, October, because it just turned November, that the calendar, I mean, it's flying. But October was my 11 years in business. And I can remember back in the days of what I called feast and famine, when I had like a ton of clients and then no clients. The reason that was taking place for me, and the reason that it no longer takes place, is follow-up, for sure. So I was I was bad about marketing my business and getting the word out there, getting a lot of clients, or onboarding, several clients. And then just stopping, like, okay, I got these clients. I don't need to follow up anymore. I don't need to do this or that. And so I experienced a lot of months and months and months, probably years, of feast and famine is what I would call it. So definitely continuing to follow up, even when you feel like you already have a full plate, is important.
Alicia, what do you use for your CRM? And if you guys don't know what a CRM is, she can tell you. But what do you use?
Okay, so I kind of use a combo now. I've been using Streak, which is for Google Chrome, for a while now, and I still utilize that as far as it's really good because it's right in your inbox. It's used right in Gmail, and it allows you to create pipelines, and it allows you to label your clients. And in those pipelines, you can rename the pipelines, but most of the time they're named something like lead, consult, proposal, follow-up, what stage that lead or that person is in the process. And then, you're able to go back and see where they are. You can also set, I guess they call it, I think they even call it follow-ups. You can set like a date to remind you in your inbox to follow up with that person, which I found was really helpful, because if you just were tracking it, like I used to just track it on a spreadsheet, that would mean if I didn't go in that spreadsheet and look, I probably, for me, things are out of sight, out of mind. So if I don't pay attention, and it's not right in front of me every time I open my computer, then most likely I'm not going to do it. And so that having the spreadsheet, while I still I still kind of what you call back things up to a spreadsheet. I still make a copy, like use Zapier and make a copy to the spreadsheet, but I don't utilize that as my front end piece that I'm using on a daily basis. And then the other thing that I just started using actually 2 weeks ago, which kind of helps with the intake process more than it does with, tracking the leads, but the intake process is HoneyBook, which, actually helps you to what it does is it's almost, how we use autoresponders and things like that when we are having email leads and we're giving away free things on our websites and all of that. Well, what this does is someone comes to your website and fills out a contact form. It then automatically sends them to your calendar to sign up for a consult. And then after that, it automatically sends them a welcome email. And you can automate the workflows to where it does everything for you. But I do like to have a stop, kind of a check-in point there, where after the consult, I'm able to say, okay, I'm able to click a button and say, okay, it's time for me to send them my proposal or contract or agreement or whatever, or they're not ready yet. I need to follow up with them, so I can schedule a time to follow up. But I noticed this week is the first time because I set it up last weekend, so this week is the first time someone used it, and I was able to see that it automatically did all of those things for me. The only thing I didn't realize was that it actually automatically sent my new client email when they, at that point, weren't exactly a new client yet. They, I still needed to have a consultation. So I had to tweak it just a little bit, but it works really well. And instead of having, in the past, I had a contact form on my site. I had a calendar. Then I had to manually send my follow-up emails. And then I also had HelloSign that I was using for contracts. So I would have to manually do that. So it kind of automates the whole process a little bit more. And it also is really branded. You can brand it with everything branded to your business. And it's really sleek, and it's very professional looking tool. I think over time, when I get used to it, it will actually work really, really well. But it is also considered a CRM because it does have that capability to house, their information and gives you the reminders about following up and things like that. But I'm still utilizing
Streak.
There's two things I use on a daily basis. I'm still utilizing Streak because I like the fact that it's in my inbox and I can see, just with a glance, I can see that, hey, I need to follow up with this person, especially when it comes to, leads and things like that. It just works a lot smoother. But all it does is I'm able to tag where they are in the process. It doesn't send anything as a result. So HoneyBook's a little bit more robust when it comes to that.
Yeah, I've been using Google Streak for a while. I like it too, Alicia, because it's in my inbox. It's right there where I am all the time. And, I just have canned messages that I put instead and send them out that way, so that I kind of have the message there, but I have to actually push a button and do it, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't automatically go. But that kind of works for me. And all that, guys, is free.
Yes, I've utilized that for a really long time. The Streak, it's a free program. There is a paid version, but I've not needed it.
No, you don't know.
Obviously. And the canned responses are another wonderful tool, and I still utilize that, with other things. I mean, because I'm honestly, there's things that you're going to send on a regular basis, and you can really decrease your workflow or work needed if you have those in there. I save them all the time. I have all kinds of them.
Yeah, I sent out 20. I scheduled 20 canned messages for all of you speakers for next week, so that you'll show up on time. And I use Boomerang to set them up so that they go out at a certain time. And it just it probably took me half an hour to set up, but
right. But it would have taken longer had you had to copy paste or type all that out. Boomerang's another good one. And Streak also, another thing that it does that I really like is you can toggle it on or off, but it will track if the person opened that email.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That is one of my favorite things about Streak, which there's other add-ons or whatever you call it in Gmail that will do those types of things. But Streak, it's already got it in there, and I like to see if someone's opened an email, because then I can see whether or not I need to follow up again. If they haven't, okay, it's been, 4 days or whatever. Let me see if they've even opened the email. And sometimes people will open it on their phone, and you can tell that's phone versus computer. It'll show a little icon. And then you can say, oh, well, they might have been out and about and they forgot to respond, because, a lot of people don't like to respond from their phone. So things like that I like about it.
Yeah, and I'm going to check out that HoneyBook. Danielle's put in, I almost said my daughter. Danielle is my daughter.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost a habit to say that sometimes, but she's my VA. She's put in Honeybook's address in there too as a customer service management program, a CRM, customer relationship management program.
Yeah.
But I've also heard good things. I've been looking at Dubsado,
Right.
because I'm trying to, move up with I've been using this Greek streak for so long, right? And trying to find other things that maybe can incorporate. But I like the idea about the Honeybook. You said it incorporates your calendar and different things. Well, like then I could get rid of, I see it's like $40 a month, but I pay $25 for my calendar, right?
Right.
I could get rid of that.
And it can do invoicing too, in the time and all that. But I've been using FreshBooks since 2011 or 10 or 11,
Yeah.
and so it would not let me export all that and import all that, and I'm not going to use, the only feature I'm not going to use is the invoicing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's mainly because I'm set in my ways on that. I like FreshBooks, and
Yeah.
I like the look. I didn't even change from FreshBooks Classic. They have a new FreshBooks like in the cloud, and I didn't change from Classic because I'm used to. I like what I'm used to, and if they make me change, I guess eventually I'll have to and get used to it. But I really like the way it is, and so I wouldn't change because of that.
And if you guys are getting baffled by all these apps we're talking about, Danielle will put links into the chat area about them. But that's what it's kind of like coming to VA Virtuosos next week. You're going to learn all kinds of stuff like this from every
fire hose.
Yeah.
Like drinking from the fire hose, if you ever did that as a kid, from the water hose.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun. Alyssa, she spoke with us. I can't remember. I wrote it down somewhere, like 7 or 8 times she's spoken with us. I can't even remember. But
right, I had to look it up because I was curious. I knew it was a lot, and so I was curious as to how many times it was. But it's always a really good conference. It's always, I've always go to some of the other speakers as well, and so, to me, you can never stop learning, and you can never learn too much. In fact, I've always said that I've learned more working online in school or anything like that because there's so many opportunities to do that, and you can pretty much learn whatever you want to online. I trained myself found ways to be trained, I guess, when it comes to what I do now that has nothing to do with what I went to school to do. So
yeah, and I've got my expensive diploma from the University of BC sitting up there and all this and that, but I have never learned as much as I have just by attending events like this, like that are really directed to my business. I wish I hadn't even went to university now. I feel like I wasted 2 years there.
Anyway, I wasted a lot more than that and a lot more money than I've ever spent online.
Yeah.
So
I could have traveled for a couple of years on the amount of money I spent at the university. But anyways, another whole story. But you can learn so much at these events, guys. I really want to encourage you to come to it. You've got 20 speakers, 20 plus hours, plus all the networking in between where you get connected with lots of other virtual assistants. You can find accountability people, everything like that. Alicia's going to be talking about LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is probably, Alicia, I would say if you're going to focus on a social network, probably it doesn't even matter what your niche is. Well, it could, but most niches would find what they need in LinkedIn, wouldn't they? Like that would be probably the best network.
Yeah, I would think so. And I just find it to be a very professional network as far as it. To me, it gets right to the professional pieces of business without having to wade through all the other stuff that you find on social networks. And that's what I liked about it. And I also like that you can really tell a lot about a person as far as their business profile, like as far as what they do, their career, and how you can help them because they have that all laid out there. Like it's almost like a resume format. And I oftentimes, I often find it odd when someone asks me as a virtual assistant for a resume but I've often used my VA or my LinkedIn profile as a resume. And I've even noticed, when I've looked on job sites, not for necessarily for VA jobs, but for other jobs, just regular everyday jobs, that they allow you to use your LinkedIn profile to import into like a resume program. So it is very much, it can serve as a resume. I've also noticed that people, and I'm going to point some of these things out in the talk that I do, but people are searching for you, and LinkedIn works a lot like Facebook or Google, or it's SEO, SEO optimized to what they are wanting to find you for. So are you just wanting to be found as a virtual assistant, or do you have a specific niche that you work in? And if they type in author virtual assistant or real estate virtual assistant, or even a specific thing that you specialize in, like for myself, WordPress. If they type in WordPress virtual assistant, those are things that can help you be found in your in the line of work that you're wanting to do, and to connect with the right people.
Yeah, and with LinkedIn, one thing I love about it, like I know a lot of people, you're going to want to do your client avatar, figure out where your target market hangs out. But the majority of business people hang out at LinkedIn. Like my mom never had a LinkedIn account, or my dad, or my third cousin, that.
Yeah, I don't know anybody. In fact, I know very few people locally, like face-to-face relationships that have LinkedIn. Very few do I know, but obviously, yesterday in the talk that you did here, I noticed that they talked a lot about the local networking events. I have actually never, other than at a conference that I traveled to, I have actually never attended a local networking event. But I've not. I've still had local clients, and I have still had, clientele that, I still was able to fill my client load. So I don't think it's a big deal if you aren't. Of course, I found my very first clients online, but I have some local clients. It was kind of through word of mouth, people finding out what I did. But it took a lot of years before I got there. I mean, I didn't even try to market locally. It was actually just kind of happenstance that I found a local client. They approached me. I didn't approach them. So it was a little bit different, but I think that you can utilize LinkedIn almost as a networking event, but that that never closes. It's just always there.
Yeah. And so many business, like every CEO has a LinkedIn account. I bet you they don't have a Facebook account, right?
Right.
So, unless your market is a bunch of crafters and you're going to go to Etsy or Pinterest, LinkedIn is the place I think every VA should start before they even do a Facebook page.
Right.
Or anything. Like get your LinkedIn profile set up. It can actually act, right, Alicia, as your website until you get that up.
Oh, definitely. That's what I was saying. It's sort of, though I very rarely have been asked for a resume, it is a very good place to send people if they do ask you for a resume, or if you just need a place to send them to find out more about what you do. We will talk about how to make your profile stand out, and what pieces are important for your profile if you are utilizing it to get clients, and that's your goal with using LinkedIn, is to get clients. There is a specific way to approach that and to handle that. And so we will talk about that.
So Alicia, tell me a little bit about your business before we head out here. Like, what do you specialize in? What do you do? Tell us about you.
Okay. Well, like I said, I've been doing this for 11 years. And over the years, obviously, it has changed along the way. But at this present time, I work mostly with authors and speakers, and I really specialize in WordPress, but also just the whole piece of online presence. Like a lot of times authors and speakers don't know what they need in order to have their business online, and to have what they need, like a website, they need social media presence, they need email marketing, and just trying to help them to put those pieces together and have them all work together to promote them and to market them as an author or speaker. So those are really the things that I focus on. I do obviously have clients who aren't authors or speakers, but the majority of my clients are in that niche or target market, and the majority of them I'm doing at least one of those tasks for, whether it's WordPress or social media or some email marketing. But it's normally a combination of all three of those things, because that encompasses your online profile or your online presence.
Do you have any tips at all for people starting out as a virtual assistant? What would you say?
Well, one of the tips that I have, people assume that they don't have any skills. And I would say, just make a list of things you know how to do when it comes to online pieces of things, when it comes to computer skills and maybe even editing skills or graphics. I would say make a list of all of those things. This is one of the first things I tell people to do. And then go back through that list and decide, okay, is this something I absolutely love to do and I would do it every day, even if nobody paid me? Do I love it enough to do it every day? And secondly, which of these things would I want to do every day? So kind of like choose what you're good at and then go back and circle. Maybe check them off. I'm good at this, but then go back and circle. I'm good at this, but I'd also enjoy doing it all the time, because there's a lot of things I'm good at that I would absolutely die if I had to sit here and do it all day. And then, because just because you're good at it doesn't mean it's what you're supposed to be doing. But then after that, then you would decide based on those skills that you have, who you want to work with. Like, who do you want to target? Who would you enjoy working with on a regular basis? And so then that helps you to choose that you've chosen your skills or your specialties, and then you've also chosen your target market. So those two pieces are where, now I know that, now I can run with that, and I can find those people that fit my target market.
Yeah, and that's awesome advice for finding your niche or finding what you want to specialize in. And if you don't know what services you could offer or whatever, go into your member area, guys, and download that sheet. There's 200 different services. You can just easily check off what you want.
Yes,
you
yes.
don't,
I have
okay?
something similar to that I give people, and it is so simple. You just get on through there and you check off, these are the things I'm good at, and then go back and take some time, maybe the next day, and really think about it, because trust me, as much time as you're going to spend on these things, if you're offering them as services to other people, you do want to be able to enjoy it.
Yeah, as much as you think, oh, I'm here 9 to 5, I'll offer telephone services. You know what? Think about it a little bit. It really ties you down, right? You are stuck at that phone at your desk from 9 to 5. And I don't know, the whole reason I love being a virtual assistant is because I can work when I want to work, wherever I want to work, working with whoever I want to work, right?
Exactly. And that way you can, if you pick and choose, and you do that from the beginning, then you will know that this is, I can do this and I can work it around my life instead of working my life around, this is what I'm doing. And that is one of the beauties, one of the greatest, benefits of being a virtual assistant.
Exactly. And Danielle, we need to do a meme for that with whatever, whoever, and whenever, because I've been saying that a lot and for 15 years, and now I'm starting to hear everybody else say it. So I think I need to do a meme for it.
You need to claim it before.
I need to claim it. I heard it at the conference last week, and I thought, hey, that's my saying.
Yeah, I have heard that a lot.
But anyways, well, Alicia, thanks so much for sharing with us today about LinkedIn. She's going to be speaking with us next week, November 5th. We're only like 3-4 days away to a conference that I really encourage you guys to attend. It's 20 speakers, 20 plus hours of training. We've got 4 webinars a day for 5 days straight. If you're brand new and you don't have any clients yet, go grab a $37 ticket and just sit in for the whole week and listen to us. If you have clients and can't do that every time, try and pop into a couple of them, but grab a gold ticket, All right, and that includes the recordings. And if you're a real keener and you want to get into our club as well, grab a diamond ticket. That's where the fun all starts. But excited, Alicia, to have you next week. Alyssa Avant, she's going to be talking about LinkedIn. Specifically, let me tell you how to use LinkedIn to grow your VA business. And you're going to love it. She is awesome. Taught with us so many times now, and you won't want to miss it. Thanks, Alicia.
Thank you. Can't wait for next week. See y'all then.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.